It's been nearly a decade since the head kick heard around the world. And now? Ronda Rousey's life story is headed to Netflix, but the woman who destroyed her might not even get a mention. This isn't just a story about a fight, it's about legacy denial, and maybe even one of the pettiest one-sided feuds in UFC history. In 2014 and 2015, Ronda Rousey wasn't just winning, she was annihilating everyone. First-round armbars, 14-second knockouts. People were calling her the Mike Tyson of MMA mainstream media, said she could beat men. Floyd Mayweather's name was actually brought up in fantasy matchups. That's how crazy it got. But then came Holly Holm, a decorated boxer turned MMA sniper. And on one night in Melbourne, she ended the Rousey mystique with a head kick that shattered the world. Ronda didn't just lose, she got exposed, humiliated, and left the sport in hiding. Since that KO, Ronda Rousey has barely said Holly Holm's name, never publicly congratulated her, never acknowledged the loss beyond generic excuses.
Literally came into that fight concussed from slipping down some stairs already after all of these years of concussions, and then I had absolutely terrible weight cut, which that means you have less fluid in your brain to protect it. I was just trying to make it look like I wasn't hurt, but I wasn't there cognitively. I couldn't think as fast. I couldn't judge distance, and just from that one fight, everybody felt like, oh, she's a fraud.
It's been 10 years, and Holly Holm still hasn't heard a word. No handshake, no convo, not even a cold nod. And now there's a Rousey biopic coming to Netflix, and guess who might not be in it? The film will be directed by Euphoria's Augustine Frizzle. It's already being hyped as a legendary combat tale, but Holm says she hasn't heard a damn thing. Holly's not bitter, but she's clearly not buying the idea that her chapter will be told truthfully. And fans, they're already calling BS on a Rousey story that erases the woman who ruined the myth.
I want to say what everybody's thinking on their minds, which is that, of course, she at some point was on steroids.
I know you've brought up PEDs in the past. Any concerns that they will be involved in this fight?
Golly, how would I know? I wouldn't know how to navigate that, because at this point, this drug testing is like the wild, wild west. It's like pee in a plastic cup that has absolutely no security on it, and do what you got to do. Even in the the Olympics, with the Russians being able to tamper with those USADA unbreakable type of bottles and be able to switch the peas in them. Eventually everything that you do in the dark comes to the light, and I cannot confirm 110% whether she is or is not on PEDs, but I will say that back then in the Olympics, she looked, like a girl, very feminine, and now she looks super juicy and cut up, somebody give that girl a Band-Aid, because she's cut. And it doesn't just happen overnight just because you touch the weights a little bit. So, I want to say what everybody's thinking on their minds, which is that, of course, she at some point was on steroids, and hopefully she cycles off of them before June 7th, makes the weight, and pisses clean, because that's what I'm going to be doing. And I want this to be as fair a fight as possible, minus her, being a weight bully and cutting the 50 pounds in order to make the weight class.
Last thing, Kayla Harrison on the show tomorrow. She texted me right before you came on. Anything you want to say to her? Any message to Kayla that we can play to her tomorrow?
Honey, I am not afraid of you. You are not some oogity boogity person who can't be beat. I see you bleed the same blood as me. I seen you lose in the PFL, and that's when you came running over to the big leagues. You are in the big leagues now. You were playing over there in the triple A's. You were over there in the minors. Now it's the real shit. Now is where we find out what you're freaking made of. Can you make the weight? Can you fight for 25 minutes? And I guarantee you, I will not go away. If she thinks she's just going to take me out in the first round, or the second round, or the third round, Holly Holm or Ketlin Vieira, she is sorely mistaken. And I'm just so sick of her trying to act like she's some freaking boogeyman. It's like, I'm not afraid of you. Plain and simple. I am not afraid of you.
Legit, I don't know if there's a fight that I'm looking forward to the build up more than you versus Kayla.
Well, let's make it happen then. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
In her first interview since tapping out, Juliana Pena revealed she fought Kayla Harrison with a broken thumb and a torn elbow. She called it a severe handicap and claimed the fight was going perfectly until the Kimura. Perfect? Let's roll the tape. This is what perfect looked like. Kayla Harrison took Pena down, dominated positionally, and forced a tap with 5 seconds left in round 2. And this wasn't some flash submission. This was the result of Olympic-level pressure and broken defense. So when Pena says the fight was going to plan, it sounds more like damage control than facts. And UFC vet Cody Gibson didn't waste time calling her out. In a savage post, he said, and I quote, "No one cares if you sign the contract. You're telling the world you believe you can win. It's either true or it isn't. Post-fight excuses are becoming more common and they annoy me." That's not just a shot at Pena. That's a shot at the entire trend of fighters using injuries to rewrite a loss after the fact. And fans, they're loving it. Pena said her entire fight camp was built around dragging Kayla into deep waters round 3. Tired, desperate, then attack. But guess what? That plan doesn't work if you don't survive round 2. This wasn't a cardio issue. It was a dominance issue. Kayla didn't gas. She hunted, and she humiliated a former 2-time champ. Once the interview dropped, the internet turned on Pena. The same fans who cheered her upset over Amanda Nunes are now calling her out for excuse-making, delusion, and clout chasing. Because remember, this is the same woman who promised to derail Kayla Harrison's UFC debut and make it look easy.
I am not trash talking. I'm simply defending myself. This all started before I even knew who Kayla Harrison was. When I beat Amanda Nunes, I saw this blonde girl sitting cage side, freaking out, cussing and having all sorts of obscenities to say about me for beating Amanda Nunes and throwing a gigantic wrench in her plans. So she's been trash talking me for a long time, long before I even knew who she was. It created more of a problem for me when she said that it was going to be the media's fault. They were going to have blood on their hands for you guys giving me the delusion to think that I could hang with her and stand across the octagon from her.
But after tapping out, now we're talking about elbows and thumbs. Even casual fans see right through it.
What? Today, of course she's going to retire. She knows that she's got to fight me. Of course. She'll do anything that she can to fight. Don't compare yourself to Anderson Silva. Do not compare yourself to Anderson Silva. Shut up. She's not scared. She's not scared. She's not scared. Bring it back. You stop. She's not scared. She's retiring.
Is that for me?
No, it's to Kayla and Juliana, but if you want to answer.
No, I'll answer that. At the end of the day, Amanda hates Kayla more than she hates me. That's a fact. She wants nothing to do with me, and she wants to fight Kayla. That's why she's sitting in the back, and as Dana said, she retired a little bit too early. She's waiting to see what happens, but she wants to fight Kayla more than she wants to fight me because she knows that that's a big freaking fight, and it's going to be a long night in the office, just like Kayla knows. That's why she's being a lot nicer than you guys have ever seen her before.
Another one for you, Juliana. In your first reign, you were not able to get a title defense. If you're able to defend the belt this time around against someone of Kayla's stature, would this make it a more satisfying title reign this time around?
At the end of the day, I'm just out here to do my job. It's not the first time I fought a gold medalist. The last time I fought an Olympic medalist, I put him to sleep. So it's nothing but another day in the office for me. At the end of the day, I'm going in there to have fun. I'm a dog. I'm uncomfortable up here right now. I want to get locked inside the octagon. I want to get locked inside the octagon.
You fought a 40-year-old Olympic silver medalist. You got your ass kicked
40-year-old? You are like a 40-year-old. Aren't you like 41 years old? I'm pretty sure you lie about your age. Pretty sure you lie about your age.
And for you, Kayla, obviously we've been wanting to see you fight for the UFC title since day one, but having these 2 UFC fights to get the experience, kind of get more comfortable with the environment, how much is that going to enhance your performance this time?
None of it doesn't matter. I'm coming for my belt. Giuliana's going to
It's not your belt. It's not your belt.
It doesn't matter.
Your belt is at PFL.
I've been competing on the biggest stage in the world since I was 20 years old.
Last time I checked, it was an MMA fight, not a judo match. Get your facts right, sweetie.
I'm gonna.
Me too.
One more for
Pena says she wants either Kayla again or Amanda Nunes if she comes back. But let's be real, why would either of them bother? Kayla just smashed her in 2 rounds. Amanda already broke her at UFC 277. And now? Pena's coming off as someone who can't accept defeat. If she wants another title shot, she's gonna have to earn it. And that road? It doesn't go through excuses. Juliana Pena has heart. She's tough. But right now, she looks like a fighter trying to rewrite history, and Cody Gibson just called her out in front of the entire MMA world. So here's the question for you: do fighters deserve sympathy after a loss if they were injured? Or does signing that contract mean no excuses allowed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you're with Cody Gibson, type "no one cares" in all caps. And if you think Pena deserves another shot, tell us why. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay locked in, because this war of words isn't over yet, and UFC drama never sleeps.